Welcome to Fred Chando Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Your support to this channel is really amazing, and I take it with a measure of humility. Allow me with the same humility to request you to kindly subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. Give our videos more likes so that YouTube can even recommend them for more views. Barely 2 days into the much published Kamkunji rally, where Raila Odinga is planning to meet his supporters for a consultative meeting and to chart a way forward on how they want to check this government. And when the administration is bashing out Raila and they are accusing him of championing his personal interest, very many voices are coming in. And one of the voices that is speaking loud is that one of the most controversial lawyer, Danstan Omari. Omari indicated that he not only supports the Raila rallies, but he will personally join in solidarity.
I will personally be in that demonstration. As a Kisi, people are defending. You've seen the president, you've seen Gachagua, you've seen Ishungwa. They are defending what they are eating. You remember what Uhuru said at Kajiado? Wacha wao wakae si tunakula nyama. The people who are eating, who have appointed their brothers and their tribesmen into PSS position and cabinet secretary, are now telling us, leave us in peace. It is very painful, let me tell you. It is very painful, especially for the sons and daughters of Omogusi. You are being told, we cannot give you a position of a PS because it can suffocate you. It is so painful. The questions Raila Odinga is asking, are we Kenyans going to sit and leave the two communities eat and use our taxes to the exclusion of the other Kenyans? That is the fundamental question. I'm not worried about the Cherera issue. I'm worried about our Kenyans involved in this government. Still, the president and his deputy are more Kenya Kwanza. They are not the nationalist leaders that we are seeing. How many people feel inclusive in this government? None. Very few. Gachagua, the deputy president, has now galvanized the Mount Kenya region. Sorry, I was in Meru for a funeral of a friend of mine. And the argument there is that more positions are coming in Mount Kenya region. More positions are going to Rift Valley. Which positions are going to the Kisii Nation? Which positions are going to the Indian community? Which positions are going all over?
I was wondering, is this administration really understanding the voices of Kenyans, or have they detached themselves from what is going on with their citizens? Because I have a feeling that our president William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua are slowly but losing this battle. Their strategy to deal with what Raila is talking about is really wanting. They have gone to churches and they have turned the sacred podiums into campaign arenas, where every Sunday they want to criticize Raila and set him against the people of Kenya. And they have also gone to social media, where they now want to talk ill about Raila. Just the other day, I realized that the president and Raila Odinga had very sharp criticism of each other on Twitter. But I want to say this, ladies and gentlemen. As long as Kenyans are still grappling with the myriad of challenges that have not been solved, as long as all the promises that the government gave to them are not yet fulfilled, I can assure you that people will go to the streets if they are called upon. We have very many Kenyans who are still grappling with hunger, and rivers are drying here and there, and even our animals are not left out. And so if Raila calls for these rallies, I can assure you that people will attend these rallies. And one of the things that is ailing Kenya and will kill our nation is that lack of inclusivity into state appointments and development projects. The other day, the Law Society of Kenya went to court to ask the court to stop the vetting of the principal secretaries. And one of the things that came out is that out of 51 nominees that had been selected, 13 candidates were from the Kalenjin nation and another 13 from the Kikuyu nation. And you can imagine that in a country of about 43 ethnic communities, 3/4 of state appointments are going to 2 communities. It means that William Samoei Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua still believe that they are working for UDA. And so it is very paramount and very crucial for this administration to realize that immediately they took oath of office, they must have forgotten their campaigns and should have stopped being in that campaign mood and get down to working for all Kenyans, because every Kenyan is a taxpayer. Danstan Omari is saying, I have heard him before, claiming that where he comes from in Nyamira, for the first time, they don't have enough representation. They do not have, I think, enough principal secretaries. And he was leading this to the fact that David Maraga, who is the former Chief Justice, nullified the Uhuru's election when they were with Ruto, and as a result, he is claiming that Ruto was annoyed. And he's saying that the former CS into the Interior Office, Fred Matiang'i, was not reading from the same page with the president, and that is why they are lacking out on crucial appointments. And this is the reason why Danstan Omari says he is going to join Raila, so that they can compel this government to realize that they are a government that should serve all the people. And Rigathi Gachagua, while talking in a church on Sunday, indicated that he has got no apologies for the mountain, for the people of Mount Kenya to be given the lion's share of appointments, because according to him, they worked hard to ensure that William Ruto becomes the president. In fact, he was saying tulijipanga. And so as a deputy president, he does not see the need of other people complaining, because apparently those other people did not vote for President William Samoei Ruto. And I think this is where we lose it, and this is the reason why, one of the reasons why people will go to the streets to compel this government to wake up and to understand that they should serve all Kenyans equally, because even though they are a part of electorates who did not support them, they pay taxes and they should be given services together and equally like those who voted for them. The other thing that will compel people to go to the streets, ladies and gentlemen, is this idea of the administration working alone, unilateral decisions without consulting other stakeholders. Just the other day, we realized that the administration abandoned all the initiatives of the previous government. They abandoned and did away with the food subsidies that had been placed by the previous administration to help alleviate the burden of buying unga. And we thought that they were going to give us a remedy, a replacement, and an alternative. What did we see? The alternative of abandoning the food subsidies was a pay bill that was shared with us by the deputy president. Now they do away with that which was initiated by Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, and then they give us a pay bill number, to help those who are suffering from hunger. And Kenyans, I think, are shying away. Most of Kenyans are not using that pay bill number. In fact, most Kenyans have resolved that if you see a neighbor who is hungry, you'd rather buy for him food rather than sending money into that pay bill, because it points out to an administration which has got misplaced priorities and an obsession to convince Kenyans that whatever was initiated by the previous government was ill-motive. And then when they decided to unilaterally do away with the special service unit that was under the command of the former DCI, Mr. George Kinoti, you saw the results. We left our Kenyans into the hands of criminals, and people were being mugged in broad daylight. And this is the reason why Raila Amolo Odinga and the other supporters, the proponents of these rallies, are saying that it is high time we don't just sit and watch this government messing up. Because when people are being mugged, it did not matter which political affiliation you are. The robbers will come and mess you up regardless of your political affiliation. And when hunger strikes, it does not care whether you are supporting UDA or supporting ODM. And these are critical matters that Raila Amolo Odinga feels that over the 7 million Kenyans who supported him should now sit down and chart a way forward. Development projects, whether it is building of roads and expanding railway and connecting electricity, should be shared equitably so that everyone feels that they are part of this nation. If this is not done, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter how much bashing the administration will do in their churches and on Twitter and Facebook. People will go to the street to demand for justice. And this is the reason I feel that the strategy of the government, the strategy of our President Uhuru Kenyatta and President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua is still not really fit to give a remedy to what is ailing Kenyans, because you will realize that very many voices are quiet but they are disgruntled. They will come out, and when they do, it will be a little bit too late for this administration. The other day they decided to lift the ban on GMO that was implemented 10 years ago by Uhuru Kenyatta. And while they thought that they could compel a few people to accept this, very many voices came up. You realize that the Catholic Church cautioned the government against implementing something that they have not included all the stakeholders to try and discuss. The farmers came out and the opposition came out, and this tells you that when the government comes in to compel its citizens to do something, there are voices that are waiting perhaps for one person to start. And because when Raila Amolo Odinga talked about this, very many voices came out. And I can assure you that there are people who are supporting these kind of rallies. They feel that the government is acting in a manner that is suggesting that very soon they will become very dictatorial. And we have been here before, ladies and gentlemen. Raila Amolo Odinga is saying that this kind of behavior have been witnessed in 1980s, when the Nyayo government could detain you without trial for just asking your right, for asking something, asking the government that which you think is not going in the right direction. And Raila is saying that we defeated the forces. And he believes that when Kenyans come together and start asking the right questions in a polite manner, the masses will compel the government to listen to them. I must repeat that there is freedom of picketing because it is entrenched in our constitution. There is also a school of thought that feels that this government is still obsessed with the revenge mission, and they feel that there are people who did not support their bid to become president and deputy. And if you look at the manner in which the Cherera 4 are being dealt with, and the speed with which the parliamentary committee questioned them, and then it went to parliament, and then the president hurriedly formed that team to ouster them. Some of them, like Justice Nyang'aya and Juliana Cherera, have resigned because they feel there is no need of going to sit in a committee that has already decided your fate. The fate is that you must be ousted from the office. So every other thing is just a mere formality. And this government, Raila and his team feels that today it will be Cherera. And when they are done with the commissioners, you do not know where they will turn their guns. Because all the dictatorial tendencies in several countries always start like this one here. They start with one person, and when you look at it, because it is not your man, you will support it. Like today I have seen the UDA and the Kenya Kwanza team, they are really very happy when things are happening. But tomorrow things might change. How I wish that we set a precedent for our young ones, so that in 20 years or 50 years time, the children that we will leave behind, we will inherit a kind of administration that is really proper, that is serving everyone non-partisan, without looking for someone to revenge. And I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that you will see very many voices, you will hear very many voices coming up. Because with Danstan Omari coming out, it only means that he is courageous. There are other voices that are still waiting. And when they start coming out one by one, like they did in the issue of GMO, it will be too late for this government. Let me finish by saying this, ladies and gentlemen. William Samoei Ruto has got a golden opportunity to unite Kenyans, not to allow them to go to the streets. I would rather they sit on a round table than going to the streets, because I have repeated on this platform that there is no benefit in allowing Kenyans to run to the streets. Let William Ruto call upon the opposition so that they can sit together without looking at who will take the political mileage, for the benefit of Kenyans, not for a grand coalition kind of government that was there. Because I've realized this is something that Rigathi Gachagua is really scared about. We advocate for a truce, a round table, and I think Rigathi Gachagua should also be on that table, so that he does not carry suspicions that William Ruto maybe is having some clandestine meeting with the opposition to form a government. And I can assure you that with that bombshell that was thrown by Danstan Omari, we can only expect more. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think?